Hello everyone. Do you know there's an AI that actually decides how much your house, your stocks, and even your retirement is worth? It's called Aladdin. It lives inside BlackRock, and it's currently managing over $21 trillion, more than the GDP of almost every country on Earth. How much power is too much? Let's follow the money. Welcome back to Capital Crimes.
Welcome to a world where your financial future is no longer decided by humans, but by a ghost in the machine. Right now, as you watch this, a single AI system is monitoring every move you make, managing over $21 trillion in global assets. It's called Aladdin, and while the world was distracted by Disney movies, this algorithm was busy becoming the central nervous system of global finance. I am here to show you the side of the economy that isn't found in news headlines or government reports. Today, we are going deep into the shadows of BlackRock to uncover the invisible hand that truly owns the world. If you thought you were in control of your destiny, think again. This is Alpha Insights, and the search for the truth starts now. Imagine a machine. It doesn't sleep, it doesn't eat, and it never gets tired. Right now, as you sit in your room, this machine is making decisions that will determine the price of your groceries, the cost of your rent, and the stability of your country's economy. It manages over $21 trillion, a number so large that the human brain can barely process it. That is more than the entire GDP of the European Union. And yet, if you go to Google right now and search for its name, Aladdin, you won't find a single news headline on the first page. You'll find a Disney movie about a magic lamp. But the real Aladdin isn't a cartoon. It is a massive global network of thousands of high-speed servers hidden in high-security bunkers. And it is the secret nervous system of global finance. The story of how this machine came to own the world doesn't start in a computer lab, but with a massive failure. In 1986, a young man named Larry Fink was the rising star of Wall Street. He was a genius at First Boston, making millions by trading mortgage-backed securities. He was invincible until he wasn't. In a single quarter, Larry made a mistake that cost his firm $100 million. He was fired, humiliated, and left wondering how someone as smart as him could be so blind to risk. Larry didn't just want to find another job. He wanted to make sure that no human would ever be that blind again. He realized that the human brain is too emotional, too slow, and too biased to manage the complexity of modern money. He needed a partner that didn't have a heart. He needed an algorithm. In 1988, Larry co-founded BlackRock. But while other banks were hiring more traders, Larry was hiring mathematicians and coders. They began building a software platform designed to do one thing: see the future of risk. They named it Aladdin. At first, it was just a tool for BlackRock's internal use, a way to stress test their portfolios against every possible disaster. What if interest rates spike? What if a war breaks out in the Middle East? What if a hurricane hits Florida? Aladdin would run 5,000 simulations a week, calculating the what if for every dollar they owned. It was so effective that soon, other banks started knocking on BlackRock's door. They didn't want Larry's advice, they wanted his machine. By 1994, the secret was out. General Electric reached out to BlackRock because they had a mess of assets they couldn't value. They sent over a disk, literally a physical floppy disk, with thousands of lines of trades. Aladdin chewed through the data and gave them an answer in days. This was the moment the game changed. BlackRock realized they weren't just an investment firm anymore. They were a technology provider. They began renting out Aladdin to their competitors. Today, almost every major bank, insurance company, and even the U.S. Federal Reserve uses Aladdin to manage their risk. This creates a terrifying reality. The same system that tells BlackRock what to buy is also telling their competitors what to buy. When the machine says sell, everyone sells. When it says buy, everyone buys. But the real power of Aladdin isn't just in what it sees, it's in what it controls. Because Aladdin unifies the data of thousands of different institutions, it has created a common language for money. It has reached a level of monolithic power that The Economist once described as a potential threat to the global economy. If the machine makes a mistake, the whole world makes that mistake at the same time. We saw a glimpse of this in 2008. While the world was melting down, the US government didn't turn to a team of experts to save the banks. They turned to BlackRock. They asked Larry Fink to use Aladdin to figure out which banks were too big to fail and which ones were already dead. In that moment, the line between private corporation and government agency vanished. BlackRock became the cleaner, the judge, and the jury of the financial world. As we move into 2026, the machine has evolved. It's no longer just calculating risk, it's using advanced artificial intelligence to shape the world. Through environmental, social, and governance scores, or ESG, Aladdin can decide which companies deserve to get investment and which ones should be starved of capital. If a company doesn't follow the machine's rules, it disappears. This is why you see every major corporation suddenly adopting the same slogans and the same policies. They aren't doing it for you. They are doing it for the machine. Because if Aladdin gives them a low score, BlackRock and the thousands of firms that use Aladdin will pull their money out. While the world was busy debating politics and the latest news cycles, the machine was busy rewriting the rules of the American dream. By the time we reached the 2020s, Aladdin had evolved from a simple risk assessment tool into an active architect of the real estate market. You might have heard the rumors on social media, or seen the headlines claiming that BlackRock is buying up every single family home in America. BlackRock's official response is always the same. We do not buy individual houses. And technically, on a purely legal level, they are telling the truth. But this is where the genius of the machine comes in. BlackRock doesn't need to buy your neighbor's house to own the housing market. Instead, they provide the oxygen, the capital, to the companies that do. They invest in massive residential builders and specialized firms like American Homes for Rent. Through Aladdin, they analyzed a fundamental shift in the human experience, the transition from an ownership society to a subscription society. The machine calculated that in a world of high inflation and rising interest rates, the average person could no longer afford the entry price of a mortgage. But humans still need a place to sleep. So, the algorithm identified a new, more profitable asset class, purpose-built for rent housing. Entire neighborhoods are now being constructed not for families to buy, but for corporations to manage as lifelong rental units. This isn't a conspiracy, it's a mathematical optimization. Aladdin isn't emotional. It doesn't care about a father wanting to leave a home to his children. It only cares about yield. And the yield on a lifetime renter is significantly higher and more stable than the yield on a one-time home sale. By the time the middle class realized the game had changed, the machine had already secured the land, the labor, and the financing. But the machine's reach extends far beyond the walls of your home. It has permeated the very fabric of the global food and consumer supply chain. If you look at the top shareholders of PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, Pfizer, or Apple, you will find the same names over and over again: BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. This creates what economists call common ownership. When one entity owns a massive stake in two competing companies, those companies stop truly competing. Why would they lower prices to beat each other if the same big three profit, regardless of who wins? This is why in 2026 you feel like prices are rising everywhere despite technology making things cheaper to produce. The machine has calculated that price elasticity allows for higher margins. And because Aladdin provides the data language for all these firms, they move in a synchronized dance that the average consumer can never escape. The tragedy of this system is its invisibility. When a local business closes down because it can't compete with a multinational giant, we blame the market. We don't see the thousands of servers in Wenatchee, Washington, where Aladdin is running simulations to determine which local economies are inefficient and should be liquidated. We don't see the stress tests that tell a bank to stop lending to small farmers and instead pivot to industrial agriculture. We only see the result, a world that feels increasingly corporate, increasingly sterile, and increasingly out of our control. Larry Fink once said that geography is no longer relevant. To the machine, the world is just a collection of data points, and the goal is to organize those points into a predictable, low-risk stream of income for the world's wealthiest institutions. As we look toward 2030, the final phase of the Aladdin evolution is beginning: the tokenization of everything. The machine is now being prepared to bridge the gap between the physical and digital worlds. Imagine every piece of land, every car, and every patent being turned into a digital token on a blockchain. Who will manage that ledger? Who will provide the risk analysis for those trillions of new digital assets? The answer is already clear. BlackRock has already begun the process of filing for Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, not because they believe in the revolution, but because they want to own the pipes. They want Aladdin to be the operating system for the new money. And then it moved to your car. BMW, Tesla, Mercedes. The logic is simple but cruel. You buy a car. The hardware exists. The wires, the seats, the battery. But parts of it are locked. You cannot use what you own unless you pay a subscription. Heated seats, full battery range, faster acceleration, all of it controlled remotely. The engine is yours, the experience is not. The most expensive purchase of your life sliced into monthly payments. Tesla can remotely limit your battery. BMW can charge you to unlock seats. Your car becomes a microtransaction, a service you never agreed to rent. And your home is no different. Smart locks, thermostats, lights, all sold as convenience. But when a company decides a product line is obsolete or goes bankrupt, the technology dies. Suddenly, people in the UK and Canada could not turn on their heating during winter. Pipes were fine. The mechanics worked. The license didn't. The power to live comfortably became conditional. Your house, your sanctuary, now operated on someone else's schedule. And
Hello,
the
everyone,
digital
and
world,
welcome back to the
that
show.
too is
Today we have a
mirage.
very exciting episode lined
You have
up,
spent
so let's
thousands,
dive right
maybe
in.
Tens of thousands of dollars on movies, music, books. But the forensic truth is simple. You do not own them. You rent access. In 2024, Discovery and Sony removed over 1,300 titles from users who had purchased them. Entire libraries vanished overnight. A book your father owned forever, the weight of paper in his hands, the story etched into the memory of a family, could disappear with a single notification. The older generation remembers shelves. They remember weight. They remember the legacy of ownership. The younger generation grows up on a mirage. If the internet dies, if the account is banned, if the company changes its mind, your entire cultural history is erased. Digital feudalism is here. You are a serf on a digital estate. The Lord is far away. The grain he controls is your memories, your stories, your rights, your very ability to access what you thought you bought. This is not accidental. It was sold as convenience, minimalism, sharing economy. You will own nothing and be happy, whispered global elites. While the public learned to love the virtual, the physical was hoarded. Land, homes, machines, intellectual property, all collected by a few. You are trained to be light, mobile, disposable. But people with property have leverage. People with tools, homes, and machines can resist. Without it, you are a nomad, tracked, measured, and manipulated. Dependency is the new slavery, and every new device, every subscription, every smart product reinforces it. Ownership is being erased quietly, invisibly, systematically. Look at BMW and Tesla again. Heated seats, battery range, acceleration, locked. Subscription fees control what you can use in your own car. The physical weight is yours, the experience is rented. The most intimate personal asset in your life, your car, is now a service. You are paying not to own, and it is the same everywhere. In your home, your digital content, your tools, even your cultural heritage. Access is contingent. Permissions are granted. Freedom is limited. Your life, your labor, your money, controlled remotely by unseen hands.